I am back. I am back at home. We're going to finish the sucker up, I hope. I don't think I have that much. I mean, I got to work on those hands. And if you listen to part 1 and 2, you've heard me go on and on about hands. So we are finally going to get to these dang hands. That is my work so far. There's the pencils. And, yeah. So I'm going to work on these hands and see what I can pick out from these wonderfully naughty knuckles and joints. Just really beautiful work. Let me get the chat up because I'd love to see who's going to join me. But just a reminder, this is the pencils from Doctor Strange number 16 by by Jason Aaron and Chris Bichello, with a cover by the great Kevin Nowlan. And let's see here. Oh, wait, that was me. Hold on, folks. I actually had it up and I didn't even realize it. All right, let's get this chat popped out. Let's save my stream bandwidth. Get the chat back up so I can see what's popping. All right, well, let's get to inking. So hopefully Son of a Red Shirt can join us because I caught him in part 2 after I went off. And I would love it if C. Kim could join us as well. But, you know, all depends on what he's doing. Oh, part the 3rd, indeed, sir. Welcome, Son of a Red Shirt. Oh, thank you for making sure he's aware. I don't know if you saw this, but Comic Trope stopped by briefly for this part 2, the tooth, the tooth. Man. So the plan is to get this thing done, and once that is done, compare it with how Kevin Nowlan inked it. which is really unfair to me. Because as amazing of a penciler Kevin Nowlan is, he's an even better inker. Let's see here. What's interesting is you'll notice how I think it's real loose right in here. That's because it's all going to be blacked out. Which is kind of incredible, but once I do that, it's going to look way done. It'll be pretty cool. So right before I started live streaming, I had tweeted out. Oh, you're not familiar with Kevin Nowlan's work? Well, he has really probably most closely associated with Doctor Strange. He's also done stuff for the Elongated Man, and why haven't I mentioned the Alan Moore universe stuff? He did the Boy Genius comics with Alan Moore, part of the ABC universe. Yes, he did ink on part of Azrael miniseries, that Joe Quesada dude. And he really took Joe Quesada's work up to another level. I mean, if you compare it to like the Ray miniseries or Ninjax, which he did afterwards, versus how his stuff came out with Kevin Nowlan inking and Sword of Azrael, which the Ray came out before, and Ninjax came out after. You can see a big difference. And that's when I learned what inkers do. But the issue of New Mutants he did, which I do not recall what it was perhaps the first issue I ever remember seeing him do the pencils on. Because I see him doing a lot of inking at that time. Let's see here. Boop. Ah! Means there's a hole. There's a hole in your mind. If anybody knows where I got that line from. What is it? Oh, that's a good question. Son of a Red Shirt asked, what is it about his work that draws you to him as an anchor? Well, honestly, it's there's a certain polishness I really appreciate. I mean, my stuff's usually a little on the raw side. I mean, you can see that with all these like little hatch lines and whatnot. Just get rid of the pencils real quickly. You know, it's a lot sketchier than what he would do. There's a cleanness to it. Same thing with I mentioned before Al Williamson's my other favorite inker. and both of them, as brilliant illustrators themselves, are able to like raise the quality of whoever it is they're inking. So when Joe Quesada, who was very, very green at the time when he worked with Kevin Nowlan, there was a lot of raw talent there. And, if you look at the Ray miniseries, you could see that raw talent. But Kevin Nowlan was able to clean it up a little bit more than we'd seen before, and just made somebody who was as talented as Joe Quesada is. Even though, like I said, he's still, this was a pretty big deal doing a Batman miniseries with Dennis O'Neil inking. Dennis O'Neil writing. Sorry. You had somebody that's a consummate pro like Kevin Nowlan come in there and really make it shine. Plus, like I said, just the cleanness of his lines. There's a thoughtfulness that I try. Don't always succeed. Hopefully, with tomorrow's, you get to see me ink one of those things I ink really well, but I hate drawing, is guitar necks. And I like to think you can see a little bit of what I've taken from Kevin Nowlan in those guitar necks. Well, like I said, just the absolute cleanness, the way he draws buildings, like I am envious. I just make like random splotches of color, black blobs, and hopefully together they look like a building. Bob Ross would never say anything like that. Oh, and his perspective. Oh my God, I'm so envious of that. The amount of time he actually takes on the perspective is the secret. If you're have a chance, I know you're not on Twitter, so I don't have a red shirt, but on Twitter he actually posts the thumbnail versus the pencils versus the inks versus the final piece. And you can see the process of how it evolves and what how the inks add stuff to it. That's actually where I nabbed this from, which I don't know if you actually got to see that part, but Kevin Nowlan knows I'm doing this, which makes me a little nervous. But at least my mom's not talking to Peter David. That's from part 2. Mom, stop talking to Peter David. I know exactly who you mean. Bill Sienkiewicz is, I think, Sienkiewicz? I think that's how you pronounce it. I need to have his Twitter in front of me because his page is how to pronounce it, like his banner is how to pronounce his name, and I'm still getting it wrong. But I follow him on Twitter, and yeah, I absolutely love his New Mutants as well. I think Kevin Nowlan came in right about the same time Bill Sienkiewicz was on there. I think Kevin Nowlan was just a fill-in artist, though. Oh, I don't know. Have you seen one of my guitar necks? I see you said that you never heard anybody complain about guitar necks before. Yeah, I go all in with the guitar neck. Years ago, I was doing a logo for a magazine that got rejected, which is a shame because I did this gorgeous illustration of a guitar neck. Hated every minute of it, but it came out so good. And I'm like, I can do this. Did it with like rapidographs and dip pens to really get those details. Oh, yeah, Bob Ross bit. Yeah, I'm not stoned enough to be. I'm not stoned at all, but I'm not stoned enough to be Bob Ross. Uh, but what was I saying? Yes, the guitar neck. So I'd worked and I took the time and I did this gorgeous illustration and I was quite proud of it at the time. I'm sure if I look at it now, I could see like 40 million different problems, but it was one of my best pieces at the time and got rejected by this little fanzine, which bummed me out because I was really proud of that guitar neck. I have no clue if I even have that. Hey, see, Kim is here. No, I was at a signing when I was like 14 and she struck up a conversation with him. And when I was 14, I was so embarrassed that my mom was talking to Peter David. And the thought that ran through my head was, Mom, stop talking to Peter David, which has just been like a big inside joke with me and my wife. Oh my God, Mom, you're embarrassing me. Why did I take you to this signing anyways? Oh yeah, because I can't drive. Um, I think I was like 14 or 15 at the time. I remember that day I wanted to pick out the outfit. You know, like I put in so much thought in the outfit when I was going to meet Peter David, and like looking back, it is cringeworthy because it was the early '90s, and I had on this black baseball cap covered with pins. It was like the vest from somebody working at Applebee's, just covered with pins from different comic books. And then I had this oversized paisley shirt and a Wolverine T-shirt underneath it. And then I wore yellow pants. I'm not kidding you, they were bright freaking yellow pants. I don't know how many highlighters died in the making of those pants, but I had bright yellow pants, and I was killing it. Let me tell you, I was living my best me in 1993. I want to hear how both of your Christmases were. The ukulele. And I spent enough time to teach her how to do a C chord. I'm sure you guitar players out there are laughing at me. That was really hard for me to learn. And then teach her. Yes, my pieces of flare. I also remember I was wearing that hat at Universal Studios Florida, like a year later, and the waitress at it was Hard Rock Cafe in Orlando, um, was like thought it was so cool that I had a vertigo button on my hat. She had to show me her flare, which was a little pin of death. I'm like, yes. Oh, good times, man. Of course, my brain doesn't remember what she looks like, so she's been replaced by Jennifer Aniston. Well, my Christmas was laid back. I spent a lot of time drawing. Getting things ready. What I need to do is get this one panel written so I can see if I need to go in there and figure out what to draw so I can actually get this page done. It's killing me. Who else wore pieces of flair besides me and Jennifer Aniston? I actually don't know who else wore flair besides me and Jennifer Aniston. The actual waitress I met. She was even our waitress. Oh, it has been far too long since I've seen Office Space. Like, I don't think I've seen it in at least 10 years. Yeah, I don't remember that at all. Oh, excuse me. Excuse me again. It's very rude of me. See what they say about if you burp on a live stream. Oh, I should revisit the. Yeah. Probably should. Let's see here. It's all black. Oh, I hope that's not me that's lagging. Oh, I wanted a leather jacket. Oh, actually, no. That was my late 90s. I did have a leather trench coat with shoulder pads. I bought it before I saw The Matrix. Like, literally, right before I saw The Matrix. I had a leather trench coat. Came out of the movie, and this dude, like, grabs me in the bathroom. It's like, you got the coat! And I was, like, completely freaking out. It's really weird, man. Kind of odd to be accosted in the bathroom. Ugh. These gorgeous nails. I'm sorry. Oh, dude, I am on Facebook. We should, like, hook up on Facebook or something. I mean, not hook up on Facebook, because that'd just be awkward. What would my wife say? Posting crazy stuff. But I tend to be very picky about who I accept friendships on Facebook in general, because I do post a lot about my kids there. I love my kids. They're sleeping right now. Or at least trying to, while their dad's talking a couple rooms away. I seem to recall you said something about that before, son of the red shirt, about having a Facebook but forgot the login. Take a look at that. Ugh. Yeah, no, I got friends and family on there that know my kids and all the crazy things that they say. Like, hold up. Ah, I see your friend request. I'll get to that when I'm not live streaming. Like 5 years ago, my youngest said, my teacher celebrates Hanukkah even though she's not British. Or my oldest said, the problem with butterflies, they look cute, crawl on your skin, and get up. I don't know if you can see that on the stream, but I totally saw that you did that. Get some water here. I'm talking so much that even Ezekiel says that my mind is gone. Let's work up a little bit more shadow on this thing. It's so loose, at least in this part. Just gonna drop in a bit of if I do that, I'm gonna have to bring in some more cross hatching. I would like to try that at some point. I downloaded WhatsApp, but I can't seem to figure out what the heck I'm doing with it. I think I need a cell phone to be able to get it activated, and I don't have a smartphone. I have a dumb phone. When I text people on it, it's like I'm texting from 2001. No, I'm just kidding. More like 2005. I text old school. Those thumbs. The buttons 5 times for the T. That's what's missing. All right. can see the erased lines, lines that don't go anywhere. Really fascinating to see the penciling process here. Ah. Oh, okay, I see what's going on. Y'all talking amongst yourselves. Getting awkward clumped. Talk amongst yourselves. Give you a subject. Comic tropes impersonations. Are they really that good? I don't know. I can't think of any stories. I mean, I could describe to you more of my incredible fashion sense in the past. I don't know if you guys ever read the comic Sluggy Freelance, but if you go back and read stuff around 2001 and see Pete mention anything about Fluffy Andy, that's referring to me. Mostly because of my white fur coat that I used to wear. And pimp hat. Oh, am I doing anything New Year's? I don't think I'm doing anything New Year's. I know I would love to go to first night in Northampton, but I don't have the money to afford to go and pay for the taxi ride home. There's lots of good concerts, events, and what happens at first night in Northampton. One of my favorite years was when I went to when I got to see a working on a piece. It'd be like X big, and you have to work on this size, whatever size that you're doing it in. But here I can just get nice and close and work those details. So if you've seen any of my finished comic art, you see how granular those pages are. That's because I can get in here and really have a chance to kind of flush that stuff out. Yeah, the other thing about working on here that I love is that I screw up all the time. I'm always getting fingerprints all over my work, and I have to figure out how to work it in. But by doing this, I don't have to do that. You know, I don't have all that time of cleaning up after myself and whatnot. Yeah, congratulations on the 96% in your class. That is freaking awesome. Yeah, I was a little distracted on that one. The amazing part is that I was able to pull all those facts off the top of my head without looking anything up. I think the other thing I looked up is I accused somebody of something while I was checking in on like what was happening on Twitter. A part of my morning routine is I always like to check to see what's happening on Twitter, and I accused somebody with doing a bus tour with neo Nazis, and it was not the person who did the bus tour with the neo Nazis. That person ran against them and in here. Ooh, that sounds like fun. Figure drawing in Photoshop. I've taken a Photoshop class and got a 100% in the class. And I took Photoshop 2 and it was even easier. I like took right to it. But I had already been using it for a while. A lot of the class was just me learning tricks of like, oh, I used to do this, and this to do that. Oh, that's much better. And every once in a while I'll do like a tutorial on something like, oh, I don't know how to do this effect. Oh, let me see what they do, how they do it on here. Which are very helpful. We didn't have those tutorials when I was working, when I was taking the class. YouTube didn't exist. That's actually a good question about has the art on the computer completely replaced the printed page in comic book art today? I'm going to say no. I think there's a larger share now of people doing it. I know a lot of people who do webcomics. If you're familiar with the Topatico webcomics that kind of formed that group, they're actually right down. I literally had to walk past the building where they're headquartered at to get from where I was at to back home. But you know, a lot of the webcomics people tend to do digital. But I think it's still predominantly people doing hand tools, paper and pen. Nothing wrong with that. I do miss the texture of the dip pen going across the paper. But the big reason why I switched was because Macintosh basically made my scanner obsolete. And some of my friends, David Brame, who I've mentioned in these streams before, does his stuff actually in this exact same program, and he is phenomenal. I have no clue what stuff is out right now, but it is gorgeous work. Is it the Rosarium book he's doing with Bill? I'm gonna have to take a peek. Let's see here. Right now. I do declare. So might be almost done. Let's see here. All right. Here we go. Well, I'm very happy with the face, but I'm always pretty good at faces, which is why I started with that. It was just a level of confidence. The hands were what I was mostly worried about, because hands are not my strong point. But just the rawness, the age, and the of those fingers is just phenomenal. Why isn't this loading? I'm totally blanking on a project that Bill and David's working on together. Let's try this. Bill Campbell. Let's see here. Is this it? Oh, Bad Mothers. That's the name of the comic. Bad Mothers. David Brame's working on with Bill Campbell. If you guys have not heard of it, or definitely should check it out. Thank you. I'm glad you like it. I don't think I got such great tone in the face. It's just not quite there in the hands. Not quite sure what to do about that. Also, you know what? I think. Well, that'd be a lot of work. But anyways, there's the pencils. There's the ink silver on top of that. And there it is without the pencils. And I do declare I think I'm done. Or at least done enough. I really feel I hopefully got my goal was to kind of capture that tension and drama from those fingers. Because hands are tough, man. Hands are tough. So I think I'll be signing off. I will join you guys in the chat room in a few moments. That way, my kids and my cats can roam through the house, and I can eat things that are crunchy and they have bones in it. So I will stick around. I'll be right in the chat room. I think it's Dormammu from what was that? Doctor Strange number 16. I'm going to post it side by side with the... Oh, he did that. Interesting. That wasn't even in the pencils. Oh. Oh. Okay. Sorry, I'm comparing the actual finished piece with what I did. So interesting. Okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get this posted. I will have both my finished version right here and his finished version, so you can see actually what the master can do with it. And I feel like I've gotten a lot out of this. I don't know about you guys. You're probably just going to be running around yelling, "Mom, stop talking to Peter David." But yeah, until then, insert catchphrase here.